Eyck's work is so consummate and seems at first sight to be so finely painted that every trace of the brushstroke has disappeared. But when we look more closely, we discover that this perfection is achieved in a surprisingly unfinished way. Paradoxically enough, everything which glitters and shines has been painted with broad strokes and dots which are almost sloppy, whereas the softer parts have mostly been finished in the minutest detail. This becomes clear when you look at the famous face of the Virgin Mary in the Adoration of the Lamb. Let's examine her face in its actual size. In order to get an idea of this, we can use a ruler and see exactly how Van Eyck painted it. The gleam of the diadem seems perfect when seen from a distance. On closer inspection, however, it appears to have been done spontaneously. Loose circles seem to have been rapidly put down in light brown against a dark background. Above them are white dots, 1 to 3 or 4 millimeters in diameter. This rather broad sweep of the brush is in striking contrast to eyebrows, lashes, and hair, which are rendered in a tremendously detailed, linear way. In the adjacent parts at the edge of the eye, as well as on the cheek, the brushstrokes are again very broad. They're very direct, almost negligent in the upper part of the cheek. This paradoxical spontaneity also occurs in the Madonna with Canon van der Pale. Here, too, the luster of the pearls is rendered in a broad, off-hand way, while softer parts are painted hair by hair, just as in a miniature. In the van der Pale portrait, everything seems to have been designed in a precise, almost clinical manner, and still the whole leaves a fresh and vital impression. The wrinkles in the face, which are like rivers and deltas, were done straight off in exactly the right shade. The downy hair is painted line by line, while the leaded window has been dashed off with swift brushstrokes. These striking lines return around the earlobe, the chin, and the edge of the robe. Still broader and brisker is the painting of the chamois leather, whereas the hands as well as the back were finished in all the detail of a miniature. This spontaneity also appears in the texture of the fur. The soft texture of lines and dots is similar to the surface of a cork. It couldn't be simpler or more transparent. This cork-like texture makes us realize how Van Eyck goes about painting the carpet. Seen from a distance, it looks as if every single tuft and fiber of the carpet has been painted individually. But on closer inspection, we discover the synthesis. All he does is pepper red, blue, and white stripes with black dots. It's as simple as that. And where the carpet falls down the step, the dots come closer together in the horizontal plane. This synthetic approach is Van Eyck's trademark. He can synthesize the glow of a pearl by a single fleck of white. Paul Cézanne follows the same principle to give a shine to an apple. The simpler the synthesis, the stronger the shine. Let's look at snow on a branch. Without snow on it, the branch has a dark, meaningless aspect. But with the snow, it displays a blinding power, because white and black, like high and low, are extremes. With this same extreme simplicity, Van Eyck profiles the sharp glint of the armor, creating a miracle of shimmering light. All these aspects, from composition right up to applying the finishing touches to a picture, combine to create one thing: style. I don't mean style from an art history point of view, but style as the metaphorical gleam by which things are expressed. To illustrate the concept of style as a plastic element, we can compare the pictorial solutions in fragments from 3 different pictures. Lenin in Smolny by Isaac Brodsky, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon by Pablo Picasso, and John the Baptist from The Adoration of the Lamb. The Brodsky painting is an example of Soviet art. Politically and socially motivated, this kind of art tries to express the message in a naturalistic way. The perfect painting is much like a color photograph, excluding all metaphorical style. It does not recreate the message in the language of art. That's why the white cloth in the picture falls exactly as it would in real life. In order to fill the canvas in an expressive way, Picasso builds a contrasting composition through the cubistic arrangement of primitive figures. You can still see the first construction of the painting. The draft becomes the finished entity and is thus in extreme contrast with Brodsky's realism. Next to Picasso's cubism, Van Eyck's Gothic style seems realistic in the extreme. And yet, Van Eyck's realism is quite different from Brodsky's. In the perfect interpretation of the coat, Van Eyck not only renders the shine of the material, but he also creates a pictorial construction.